Welcome to What Self-Care Looks Like. I'm your host, Brittany Elliott. It may be hard to hear, but self-care is not spa days, a weekend getaway, or brunch with your bestie. True self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness, and it lives within your daily routine. I'm a self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. Let's get back to you. Okie dokie, y'all. Welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I'm Brittany Elliott. I'm your self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so that you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. And we have a wonderful guest in the virtual studio today. We have Jenny. And is it Peacock?
Yes.
Yes.
Jenny Peacock like the
Yes.
bird.
Just as vibrant. And I love that. So Jenny, can you tell everybody a little bit about what you do and what makes you so amazing?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to be on this platform to talk about what I do and just motherhood and all the fabulousness in that. So, a little background information. Let's get the basic foundation out the way. Mom of four, stay-at-home mom, and wife. Okay, so that makes up one part of me. And what I do, I'm a wellness coach for moms. I'm a certified nutrition coach. So I teach lifestyle from nutrition to fitness. I'm a fitness instructor for moms. Fit as a Mother is a inclusive approach to wellness when we don't see that often in our fitness world where I started it because identifying yourself as a mother in a fitness world looks different. And then I wanted to create a lane for just our moms, and not necessarily taking care of yourself physically, but mentally, emotionally, mentally, it all is a part of the package. So Fit as a Mother has been in business since Mother's Day 2022. And I'm touching one mama at a time to empower her, to enrich her, to help her regain or acknowledge or harness that power that we have that sometimes can get lost in motherhood.
So much of it gets lost in motherhood. And I love what you are doing. And I love that you just gave this gift to yourself and the world on Mother's Day. And the years just go by so quickly just from becoming a mom to just fast forwarding to where we are now. So can you talk to us a little bit about your motherhood journey?
Yes, my motherhood journey actually did not start out atypical. So I have four living children. I have one angel baby. So my motherhood journey actually began in 2007, where I found myself at the ripened age of 20 years old, pregnant, um, engaged, just open, willing, ready to like embrace being a wife, being a mom. And I was faced with preterm delivery or preterm complications. At that time, I was gestation, I want to say 23. I started having preterm delivery issues. I wasn't aware. I was seeing midwives at that time and I was having some like aches and pain and they're saying, drink water, lay down on your side. And I'm doing all this stuff and I go in and boom, I'm hit with preterm delivery. I don't even know what that was. I was not educated about what to look for preterm delivery. Long story short, I tried I want to say I tried. I feel like that wasn't God's plan for me to become a mom at that time. Whatever happens, I believe everything happens for a reason. So I entered into motherhood basically delivering a baby at 25 weeks gestation. That baby passed away in 3 days.
Mm.
So that was the basis of how I started motherhood. So I wanted to get pregnant right away. I'm making up for this baby that I lost. So I then again started trying to have children. And my medical team was great. I went through that tragedy, but I was gifted a great medical team where I then had my four living children here. It took a lot of energy. It took a lot of tears. It took a lot of praying because my preterm delivery problems were undiagnosed, inconclusive is what they told me. It wasn't because my cervix was open or they couldn't find out. They did amniocentesis and there was no infection in utero. So I struggled with pregnancy 1, 2, and 3 with preterm delivery symptoms where I'm going in, I'm being admitted, and they are monitoring me. But that was my journey into motherhood. So eventually I was able to have 4 beautiful children, 3 boys and a girl, and they're all about 2 years apart. So that was like my journey into motherhood. And then eventually I decided to become a stay-at-home mom through having many children. It's complicated to be able to like maintain like career and working. And I don't know, I just at the heart of me, I've always wanted to be a mom. So that was really
Mhm.
weird, but I wanted to just have family.
I do want to sit with just your journey into motherhood because I know a lot of women who lost a child, whether it was, their first one or maybe a couple later. And while it was so tragic, it did not stop them from becoming a mother, still pursuing motherhood and, bearing children who have lived. And when you say, like, I just always wanted a family, like, this is what I always wanted, and I'm living in that. I
Hmm.
love that you're so upfront about that. I feel
Right.
that women who their dream is family, their dream is to be a mother, get devalued a lot in society as if
Oh,
like you're
yes.
this oddity. What has your experience been with that and how have you overcome it?
Oh my gosh, that is such a great question. So, yes, devalue. Oh, my word. Especially being a stay-at-home mother. I struggled for a very long time for I'm a, just a stay-at-home mother. The fact that I chose motherhood as my value system, as my drive, my passion, my career. It's not honored. It's depicted like you're lazy. You're
Mhm.
you're just raising little humans, you know. At the same time, I feel like there's a belief of that white picket fence, that Susie Homemaker, right? And if you're not living that Susie Homemaker lifestyle of like the perfect, you look good and your home is good and your with kids are well kept, that you're still not following through on what you're supposed to be doing, but what I'm supposed to be doing isn't valued anyway.
Mm.
So I definitely being, especially married to a highly successful man, and then also being in different type of environments with him, with other educated. When I say educated, those who chose like career and have master degrees, and I chose master degree in motherhood. So that was frowned upon, and I felt that. I felt like I don't have value. I don't have an opinion. I just deal with kids,
Mm.
and I just raise family, and I just, but then also you're looked down upon, but then also there is a expectation of what that looks like anyway, because if you don't do a good job, it's looked at, right? And if you are doing a good job, it's devalued. So it's like a double-edged sword. Um, so I had to fight through that I do have value in motherhood, and what I'm doing is world changing. No, I didn't choose to be a CEO of a corporate company. I'm CEO of Peacock headquarters, and I'm
Yes.
raising tomorrow's future leaders. So I had to be proud in that. But I did go through my challenges of feeling like I didn't have worth because I chose motherhood as my number one. I honestly did. I always had aspirations for career and stuff, but that family, that motherhood was like stronger than that. And that's why I ultimately just put my hat down for career and picked up and went 100% at motherhood.
Like, I see you as having value, and I feel that the people around you in your circle absolutely feel that. And we're also sometimes fighting this internal battle of, do I though? And so, are there times when you're just like, even though I know that there's people out there who feel like I could be doing more, or I should be doing more, like I am feeling strong in this, and I'm not going to let those societal expectations tear me down. Like, how are you fighting them?
So how am I fighting them? Because they're still there, right? Once you have like self-doubt, it's a continuous daily practice to not allow that voice to become stronger than your value system that you've already established for yourself, right?
Mm.
And I've experienced the working mom thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm not doing both. So I have a little taste of the working mom thing, but I have more of an experience of the stay-at-home mom thing. So it starts with number one of discovering who you are. You have to go there. You can't put a band-aid on it. You've got to get to the root cause of why do I feel this way? Okay, I have identified that society doesn't view me as valuable. Conversations from my husband might plant in my mind that I'm not valuable, or this experience or that experience. So we have all these experiences that plant our sense of self, to be honest, right? So we have to filter through that. So what helped me be able to sustain and keep my value system now that I have before when I did not have was I had to quiet out the noise.
Mm.
And I referenced 4 years ago when my youngest went to kindergarten. So if you think about a stay-at-home mom, you always have a child with you. And it's hard to really get enough quiet time because for so many years, back to back to back to back, it's noise, noise, noise. And what I mean by noise, doing this, doing that, to entering your space, you're trying to create boundaries. So when I got time to myself, that's when I really discovered me. When my youngest went to kindergarten, I was crying, my baby's gone. But then I feel like God started talking to me, and in my quiet time, and he's like, turn over this stone, turn over that stone, look there, look that. And I really got to the source of who I am, the core of me.
Mm.
And I dug out the junk. Like that doesn't identify me. This lie was placed on me, and I believe that lie. Right? So I started to harness my power, really got to know who I am. So I refer back to that, my core. Whenever that doubt comes in, or oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda, I should have chose career first, I should have went to. No, this was my path. This was especially designed for me. This was my purpose. So I hold on to that core to keep me here strong and not allow that to penetrate here, because ultimately it starts inside of here, and then the heart to mind connection. So that's how I anchor into here, to make me hold in my truth of who I am and what I stand for, and the fact that what I'm doing is important and I am important and I am valuable. So I always reference back to my heart.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I feel like so
Thank you.
many of our listeners just need to hear that message because it really does come down to that. When you go out into the world, wherever you are, there's always going to be something that can trigger the doubt
Yes.
in you, no matter what it is. If you just go at one identifying part of you, if you just go to motherhood and just say, I'm only going to focus on motherhood right now, just how I identify myself as a mother, what type of mother I want to be, there's going to be something out there that triggers some type of doubt in that. If you want to go
Mm-hmm.
to yourself as a wife, there's something out in the world that's going to trigger, like, am I a wife enough? Am I doing my wifely duties enough? What do
Yes.
wifely duties even mean?
Look like.
Yeah, like, how
Mm-hmm.
does that look? And even
Mm-hmm.
with friendship, am I being the right type of friend? Am I being the right type of sister, daughter? There's always something that can be out
Yes.
here working against you and making you feel like you doubt yourself. But you have to go into that quiet and have that peace and have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that for you, especially, your faith has helped you really align that. So can you talk more about that and that time that you spend to really listen and sit with God too?
Yeah. Definitely. Faith is definitely the core of me. It didn't start out that way, actually.
Hmm.
I feel like I grew up in the church. I grew up with God. I literally was that church girl. So I always had that value system, that foundation there, right? And then I went from my mama's home and that foundation to like basically instantly being a wife. I met my husband at 18 and he's 23. So I instantly went into motherhood and wife. That was my desire for family and that. So I always carried it with me. But when I started to focus on self, which when I remember when I was 29, I was about to turn 30, and I never celebrated really my birthday. I always celebrated others. And I remember sitting there on the eve of my 30th. No, it's not my 30th, my 29th birthday. I was sitting on the eve of my 29th birthday, and I said, this sucks. When I turn 30, my 30s are going to look different because I wasn't celebrating me, right? So basically, it started with a celebration of me. Like, I'm a person. I'm more than a mom. I'm more than a wife. It's when it started at 28. And I started out with, well, I'm gonna make sure I have birthday trips every year. I have a best friend, her and my birthday are 11 days apart. I'm June 22nd, she's June 11th. So we started doing birthday trips. So that was one little inkling of getting back to me, right? And then shortly before my 31st birthday, I didn't really like where my weight was.
Mm,
I was still struggling, undiagnosed postpartum depression, anxious. I have four under, maybe four under seven at that time. So I was in the thick of it. I was in the thick of motherhood, like taller, preschooler, school age, like it was. And I decided to take my physical wellness first. And I signed up for a fitness class. It was called Peach Squad. And I remember my coach talking to me. I went to like a free little like try me class. And I remember talking to him, trying to get a little bit more to know about that class. And he said motherhood is a marathon, not a sprint.
mm.
And that stayed with me. So it started physically, really, really did. And people would say, "You look great. How do you do it?" And then I started connecting like, well, thank you, but I do this more so for sanity, not vanity, because I was also, working through that mindset, that postpartum depression, that I had panic attacks started in my 30s before I started my fitness thing. So I was struggling with so much, not just weight. So what I found to be that my physicality can only take me but so far, because I am human and I don't have all the answers. So I struggle behind the scenes, even though on the outside I'm this fitness guru, this fit mom. I still struggle interpersonally with a lot of stuff, that doubt, my identification, my purpose, still struggling with depression. And once you have, I feel like depression, that is going to be a part of you in some form or fashion. So I feel like God, that's why when my youngest went to kindergarten, God met me. This is who you are. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to devotionals, started to read my word more,
Mhm.
not just on a Sunday thing. And God brought me through, and I was in some really dark times and only but God situations. So today I worship, I work out and worship. I work out and have worship music playing because I started to learn to protect my mind. I started to learn to protect my spirit. It's not just a physical thing, Jenny. So what I started at 31, today at 37, grew into a stronger faith in my fitness. So I have a quote for Fit as a Mother: strong in spirit, fit in body.
Mm.
Because I now identify you need both, girl. You need both. So I feel like whatever seed was planted back when I was a little girl just got watered with Fit as a Mother. And now it has bloomed from a seedling into a tree. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like the backstory where my faith has grew to with my fitness walk, my wellness walk.
Hey, it's Brittany here, your host of the show, and I'd like to invite you to grab your copy of my book, What Self Care Looks Like. It's the roadmap for working moms who want to prioritize their self care and rediscover the joy in their motherhood experience. It's a must read for any mom who has felt lost, unseen, or unsure along her motherhood journey. Buy it today at www.whatselfcarelooks.com. That is
Yeah.
powerful.
Thank you.
Man, that is so powerful. And I feel like so many of us had those little little moments and those little sparks, and many of us ignore it. And that's what I always say in coaching. Like, you had that spark somewhere and you ignored it, and now you just
Yes.
need some support to make space, to make room for
Yes.
that spark so it can really take off and start to light a fire within you so that you can pour into others perhaps, but mostly be able to pour into yourself so you can give to the people who need you.
Yes.
And it seemed like a Fit as a Mother was born from all that work that you did. So what do you do to help other women through their wellness journey through your platform, Fit as a Mother?
So I have several different ways that I approach it. Starting out, originally, it was the foundation, simply working out. I was creating an environment of let's prioritize our physical wellness. And then also I was trying to build community because I feel like all of our motherhood journeys or we are parallel to each other, but we're not really inclusive and engaged with each other. It's like my neighbor over there with 4 kids and I'm here with 4 kids. And it's like, we should be like, hey girl. So I feel like I wanted to create a community because motherhood sometimes can be lonely.
Hmm.
It started off physical and with the fitness classes in trying to change the depiction of what fit looks like, and especially in motherhood. And we try to strive to this unrealistic idea of a body image after we have kids. Yes, I'm snapback. I can't stand that word. Everybody's snapback looks different. Um, so I wanted to create a all body, all sizes, all athletic, all your children with you environment in working out and prioritizing your physical fitness. Judgment free zone. So I started connecting with mothers like that, becoming like more well known to what I do. And then, like I said, how my journey of fit as a mother, it definitely uh, shadow or it mirrors my like what I put to the public is mirroring my journey. So it started out physical for me. I was showing physical fitness. Of course, I always had that nutrition knowledge because I had prior like medical experience and I went on for more certification in nutrition. So I always spoke like healthy eating. And then it moved into more of a soul mind kind of like connection. So when I connect with these moms, I'm looking to inspire, empower. I have wellness coaching sessions also. One of the aspects that mamas can work with me is through a 6 week wellness coaching program. I believe in 6 weeks is a perfect number to start to lay a foundation. I feel like any change you have to give it a minimum of 6 weeks.
Hmm.
So when I'm working with the mom typically would come to me like, I want to lose weight, I want to eat better. Cool, work with me. But while we're talking about your daily physical habits, I'm talking to you about other things you're not even thinking of. I'm thinking about your sleep. How are you sleeping? How are you managing your time? Or are you establishing boundaries with your family? Some of them like, well, I can't because, and so I talk about boundary setting. So I work with women not on the outside simply, but from the inside out. That yes, you can. And just laying foundation after foundation. I tell we're like an onion with different peels, like different layers to us. And I'm just layering, unlayering and relayering really that foundation of the mom. So it's not just simply eating well. It's not just simply working out. It's the full picture. So I work on the whole mama. And the avenues are through the workouts that I do, the inclusive community, every mama, bring your babies, let's do it. I've section out that time for you. And then also have the wellness coaching where I give you more of a personal one-on-one. I reach out to women on a day-to-day basis. Anybody that knows me is like, hey girl, I'm coming through for you. And I just give myself to the moms that I'm connected to because I understand where they're at because I've been there. Um, and then I also most recently I started a Facebook group, a Fit as a Mother Facebook group. So it's more interactive. And so like today was Supplement Saturday. And I talked
Mm.
about the importance of supplements and why we should take them, especially as moms. We're micronutrient deficient in a lot of different things. So we talked about omega-3s today and fish oils and the importance of it. So I spit a little bit of not spirituality, but faith walk, my relationship with God on my Facebook. If it is a mother, I talk about food and fitness and self-care, time management, everything. I hit all parts. There's not one thing that I more so specialize with in. So I can feed a mom and all this. I just sprinkle all those aspects around with my moms that I work with.
That's beautiful. And I love that
Thank
you
you.
you take that overall wellness approach as well, as do I, because we know that it's not just this one thing. And I highly recommend that for our listeners, like you check Fit as a Mother out and you see what resonates with you because it definitely takes a village, and we do need community. And there are so many of us out here doing this work, and it takes all of us. I mean, I will tell you, I officially started my business. It was 2021, July of 2021. And it's taken all the way till now, 2025. We just connected recently, and you've
Yes.
been doing this work since
Right.
2022. So it's like we're out here and we don't even know that we're
No.
all out here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, we're in the same city.
Yes.
It didn't even know. We didn't even know. We were going through the same struggles, struggling. When I could have probably just
Right.
pulled up out your house and been like, girl, you know, and it
Right.
feels so
Yes.
isolating because when you're going through it, you're like, it's just me. It's just me and my problems
Yes.
and my little bubble.
Yes.
And it's not. And it definitely takes time, because I love that you said this first kicked off. You were like going into your 29th birthday and you're like, my 30s are not going to be like this. And now at
Yes.
37, I mean, we're talking about putting in time. And if you're at the beginning stages, if you're at your kickoff point, I'm telling you, as a listener, do not try to do this by yourself,
No.
because there are people, we can help you do this quicker, more efficiently, and get you
Yes.
to the point where you need to really build and spend that time. You don't have to do it like Jenny and I. Jenny and I already did the work. We already went through the struggling part. We're trying to help you.
Oh, yes.
We try to
Not
help
go through what
you.
we went through.
No, because
Yeah. Yeah.
you don't have to. And I just think, like, if you and I would have had each other back then and what we
Oh
could
my
have done.
gosh.
But you know what? We can start today and we can be
Yes.
resources for each other as we move forward. And I think that's the
Yes.
beauty of it. And that's the part that we forget. In our darkest hours, you just think like it's just me and I'm
Yep.
so alone. And like, you're not, boo.
Yep.
You're
Say like that alone, like based off of my faith, and not everybody has faith that I have, but in general, if you just think about in general about as far as evil and good, right? There's always a dark side of a light. There always is, whether you believe in Jesus Christ or not. The dark side's goal, the enemy's goal, is to isolate you. And once you are isolated and by yourself, you believe the lies. And I feel like whether in motherhood, like you said, or maybe you're just married, just a wife, or in your singlehood, and you feel isolated. Isolation is the number one, like, I see it as a spiritual attack that they want to get you isolated to get into your mind, to make you feel like you're alone, that you don't have anybody, that you're worthless. That's where hopelessness comes into next. So yes, isolating, especially in motherhood, since we're talking about motherhood, you got to get around other moms. You got to start sharing your story. Sign up for mom groups, mommy and me things, just to be able to get in community. And speaking about faith, we talk about community a lot in faith. That's why people go to church, right? Going to church is a physical example of being in community, and where there are numbers, there are stronger with anything, politics, anything. You're stronger in numbers, right? So yeah, isolation is, I feel like that's the foothold, and that's like the opening that opens up and gets you down weaved in some really dark pathways that you don't want to go down there.
yeah,
But often we
exactly.
find ourselves there, unfortunately. But
We all
then
do.
we're birthed fit as a mother and back to you. So like
Exactly.
our journeys brought us here.
They brought us here and we're trying to bring more people along the way.
Yes, be the
So
light.
absolutely join us. I'm going to go into
Yes.
a last question, but first I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and where they can connect, where they can follow you.
Yes. So I am on Facebook. You can always come to Jenny Peacock, Peacock like the bird, and you'll see my links there in terms of my Facebook group. If you look me up on Facebook, also Fit as a Mother, Fit as a Mother. I have to learn how to slow that down because I could talk really fast. And then also I have Instagram, so it's fit.as_a mother. So those are all the three platforms. I also have a website, fitasamother.org, but I mostly do a lot of content and connection through my social media platforms. So I recommend you go in there. We're doing a lot of happenings in my Fit as a Mother group. January was a New Year reset where we did an anti-inflammatory diet.
Mm.
This year is the month of love. I'm focusing on love of your hormones because I'm a hormone coach also. Hormones to heart health to self-care. were some of the highlights that I'm putting out for coaching my mamas in my group. And then if you follow me coming March, I'm having some happenings as far as physical fitness. I'm bringing Fit as a Mother sessions back, but that's where you can find me and all the happenings with Fit as a Mother.
Yeah, I love that. And definitely follow Jenny because I find your content very refreshing and so fun. And like you're talking to me, it's like I
I know,
know
right?
that I could take something away from it. And there's always another challenge coming down the line. This is a journey, right? Like you said, the
Yes,
person told you, like, this is a marathon. And at the
not
next
a sprint.
mile, something's gonna happen at the next mile. So
Yes.
again, don't be doing it by yourself.
Yes, yes. And I tell my mom as I have certain little words I say adjust and pivot. Adjust and pivot because we can try to plan, and then whenever our plan fails, we get discouraged
Hmm.
and we let loose of our grip. I call it the balloons. I'm holding all these balloons. And then I start letting go of my balloons. You got to adjust and pivot because it's a journey. It's not going to look like yesterday. It's not going to look like 5 years ago, and today's not going to look like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
And
once
be
you
okay with
accept
that.
that, yes, the acceptance, girl, high five, yes.
Yeah, you see how we're in sync, y'all? This is not for
We're
fake.
like okay with it. Be okay, acceptance. It's a good time over here, y'all. Come on, come
Like, come to us. We got you. We got your back. So, to
Right.
close it out, Jenny, tell us a little bit about what self care looks like for you in this season of your life.
Yes, yes, yes. Self care looks like to me in this season of my life is honestly prioritizing my hormones. And I've walked into the season now that I struggle with something called PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is characterized basically as a very severe PMS. And what I come to understand, although during my wellness journey and everything, there are certain practices and habits that I was unknowingly doing that was not setting up my hormones now at 37 on the best foot. So things like adrenal fatigue and just your hormones kind of like get taxed out, like hormones in terms of estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, your melatonin, stuff that regulates our bodies. So this season I'm in right now is hormone healing because I understand hormones are the base of what makes me function, how I feel in terms of energy, how I feel as far as mood. I do struggle with pain with with menstruation and also before menstruation. So there's different phases of your cycle, your follicular phase and your luteal phase. You have ovulation. So there's all these different terminologies. So I've really been deep diving into understanding myself on a hormone level and taking my prior knowledge of self-care on the other aspects and adding that too. But it's really at the forefront. So what that looks like for me is really being mindful and intentional and conscious about the foods that I'm eating. Because I have practices where I call it the 80-20 rule, where like, yeah, girl, have that slice of cake and that pizza, in terms of like maintaining like a figure or maintaining your weight loss or whatever. Now I'm really like really in tune with my body. Like even when I do eat the junk food, like what is that doing to my hormones? How's that offsetting my cycle now, right? So I'm really being in tune about what I'm eating, really picking up on my nutrition, creating what they call it sleep hygiene. What am I doing before I lay down? What is my lights like to start lowering down an hour before I'm supposed to rest? No screen time. I need to read, taking a bath, certain essential oils, a sleep mask, the comfortability of your room. Just being more intentional and being more aware to set my sleep up because I know that helps my hormones. Um, of course, exercise always is there, but my exercise have changed now. They used to be high impact, high interval. Now I'm doing low impact. It's suggested that you can do high impact during your follicular phase as menstruation slows down, probably like day 4 when you're menstruating. It's so safe to go back into high intensity. But shortly after menstruation starts to slow down or stops to ovulation is the window where high intensity is okay because what happens is high intensity workouts can increase inflammation. So I'm really on like an inflammation healing journey because inflammation can come from the food you eat or from environmental factors. So I'm focusing on that in terms of changing out my workout. I'm definitely prioritizing faith first. Back in the day, I would roll out, go straight to the gym. I wouldn't practice faith first. Faith was secondary. So my routine looks like prioritizing my hormones, being more aware of it through the foods that I eat, through my sleep hygiene, anchoring into my faith as number one. That looks like, doing a devotional. I read my Bible. I put my worship music on. And what self-care looks like, my routine right now is I'm in therapy. I added therapy to my toolbox. I talk about this toolbox. So therapy is now in my toolbox. So I understand that I've been through a lot from childhood till now. And even when you try to work against what you're not trying to go toward, I guess, if that makes sense, sometimes, a lot of times, your past becomes your present unknowingly. So there's certain habits that you pick up, and like my therapist would explain to me, neural pathways that we form in our brains. So when I found myself at 31 as this stressed out mama, tripping, stressed out, didn't know what the heck I was doing, right? I worked on these other sides of myself with that, but I do revisit some of these sides of me that I don't want to come out again, And I'm like, I think I need to get some therapy. So that like makes up my routine now of taking care of me and just understanding, knowing how to communicate better too. I feel like that I could tend to keep quiet or shut down. And so now I'm learning how to use my voice, not through shouting or yelling, but articulating myself and being able to place a name on that feeling. I feel like that's really important. I'm not just always angry, because sometimes women can be viewed as like you're emotional, like, but more like the angry or like the crying. So I've been trying to really work on like, I'm not angry. My feelings are hurt, So that's what's like where I'm at right now at 37. Really holistically working on me, not to fit into a certain pant size, where that's when it began back then. I went from like a size 12 to like an 8 or 6, I think was my smallest. So I'm happy. I'm beginning to be happy in the skin that I'm in. I just want to be happy and thriving in all aspects, not just simply one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, thank you, Jenny, for coming on. Thank you so much for sharing that. And for our listeners, putting all her links in the show notes so you can go there to grab her information. Make sure you follow her. And until next time, y'all, we'll talk very soon. I
Yes.
appreciate you.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you learned at least one thing you can implement into your daily routine. To connect with me, follow at Back to You in 5 on Instagram. If you're feeling generous, share this episode with a mom you know and subscribe to the show. I appreciate your support. Remember, motherhood is a journey, not a destination. Grow through it and enjoy the view.